Welcome back to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. On this lovely Sunday evening, I would like to actually go over one last Ascension symptom that I forgot to mention yesterday. During this Ascension flu that we're all experiencing to some level or another, one of the things that has come up is the electronics. Oh my gosh, I've had so many problems with my phones, and a lot of people are reporting this. One guy can't even turn on his TV now unless he's standing next to it, and he doesn't need a remote control anymore. He stands next to his TV, it turns on automatically. And he can't use the remote, changes the batteries, nothing works. So that one is extreme. Haven't heard of that except in one case. But with me, I have noticed that my phone will be, I don't know, maybe like with 100% charge. And I will get rid of all the cash, set down my phone, and 6 hours later, it's on like 2%. But it's a brand new battery. It's a brand new phone. Like, what is happening? Also, I've like had my like a YouTube queue where I'm watching a series of videos, like music videos or whatever, cast to my Chromecast, and then all of a sudden, everything just shuts down. My phone shuts off. I turn it back on, and all the videos I just watched, it's not even on my YouTube channel queue. And it's like, what? And I don't know if I'm jumping timelines, and we're going to go into timelines a little bit later also this month. But it's like, wait a minute, I watched that. That should be a part of the record. That's part of the YouTube history. And it's like, it just doesn't exist anymore. So I wonder if any of you guys are going through that. If you are, I'd love for you to send me a voice message. I'll even play it on the air. Because this is a crazy phenomenon. But I will pick up my phone, look at it for a couple of minutes, check my messages on Facebook Messenger or whatever, put my phone down, and I'll come back, and I have a program for angel cards or angel numbers. And it's usually the angel ones. So maybe it's my angels getting in touch with me, but I'll have like 4 icons on my main home screen of one app like that. And it's like, dude, I have it in a folder. Why would I put it on my home screen? Like, what the heck is going on with our electronics? I've had my TV just shut off randomly. I've had my, Wi-Fi goes in and out, but that seems to be kind of normal, even though we have excellent Wi-Fi here. I've had my computer shut itself off. I've had my phone turn itself on when I'm not even near it. I'll walk near it and it just turns on, even if I've shut it off. I've had just things go on and off. I have a really intensely powerful LED light in my kitchen that probably should last like a year. I've been here for 7 months, and this is the second time I've had to have it replaced. I've always had a problem with light bulbs. I've always caught microwaves on fire. Just, I don't know, don't ask. I don't even have a microwave anymore. So I wonder if you guys have gone through some of these Ascension symptoms I mentioned yesterday, and especially with electronics, because that one's just really weird. It's like as your vibe goes up, your energy field will start to affect all the electronics around you. And I don't know if it's only solar flares, or if it's you, or if it's the cosmic energy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Is it our bodies as we're progressing? It's all just very strange. But I did want to mention that because I forgot to add that to the list yesterday. So I want to tell you about my morning. I woke up about 10:30 to this loud marching band directly outside of my apartment building. Look out the window, and it is the most insane parade. I was really, I don't know, like, horrified isn't really the right word, but shocked, confused, like, confused to the point of almost being angry because it made no sense. There was no logic to it. And I'm like, what the hell? So this is what I saw. I saw a marching band, police escorts all the way around this marching band, which is normal, I suppose. But behind the marching band, there were people on horseback, which also doesn't sound so crazy, but the costumes, they were wearing Santa Claus outfits, angels. Someone was dressed as the baby Jesus. There was Mother Mary and Joseph. And you think, well, okay, I'm in a Catholic country. That makes sense. And then following that were the three wise men and a whole bunch of people dressed as Egyptian pharaohs, like King Tut, and a lot more angels, and then police escorts, and then some cars, and it was over. But I was really like, okay, Christmas was over 11 days ago. People, get over it. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? I'm so confused. I don't understand. So I texted with like 5 or 6 people that I know here in Cuenca, and they just said it's a parade, haha. You know, I'm like, is this just craziness? Is this an Ecuadorian or a Cuencano thing? Because Cuencanos have, you know, their own spin on things. You know, every city is different. So I found out this is called the Festival of Kings, and it's a Sunday where all over the whole city, in every neighborhood has a separate parade of what they consider to be kings. I'm thinking next year I'm going to dress up as Elvis. He was the king of rock and roll. And I'm like, and where was Michael Jackson, the king of pop? Come on. If we're going to show kings from all over the world, why? And Santa Claus, he's not a king. And were the wise men even king? The whole thing was completely, there was like no logical sense to it. And it just made me kind of crazy because I like things to be wrapped in a nice, neat package, especially when it's kind of like the whole community participating. I don't know. I think it was my Virgo-ness coming out. I'm like, what the hell is happening right now? And I remembered that last year the same thing happened, and I had repressed it because it upset me so much because it made no freaking sense. But I can't wait. Now, next year I will participate. I will go to the Festival of Kings. If I could capture some audio, then I will do that because it sounds like it'll be kind of actually fun to participate in it. So it was one of those things that, what is that? Oh, it was just one of those freaking crazy things. You know, when you're in a foreign country and then all of a sudden things go off around you where it just doesn't make any sense at all. And you're like, wait a minute. Well, I had one of those moments this morning. Anyway, let's get on into the topic for today. I'm going to talk to you about grids, GRIDS, grids. And I don't mean the electrical grid that we get our electricity from. I mean energetic grids. So I first became aware of energy grids, I would say about 10 years ago. And I was kind of in a meditative state. And Brother Yeshua came to me. And I think I mentioned before, I'm a psychic medium, and spirits, sometimes spiritual masters will come to me, but, you know, spirits, people that have passed on. So I have conversations with all kinds of people, and I know I must half the time look like a crazy person. I have to go inside somewhere where no one can see me actually having a conversation with like nobody in the room, because even though they're in the room, other people can't see them. And I can't see them, but I feel them. I could see them in my mind's eye. So anyway, I have a lot of conversations with Brother Yeshua. Most of you know him as Jesus. So Brother Yeshua came to me about 10 years ago, and he said to me, all right, little sister, he calls me little sister. He says, little sister, I need to ask you a favor. You are one of the light workers that are meant to help us break up what we like to call, and he says this, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but he literally said it like this. He put up his fingers and did air quotes. He said, the Jesus Christ grid. And he said it like that, and I knew exactly what he meant. So I think it was a personal reference, not that he was being judgmental of anybody, but he explained to me after he said it like that, it's the chokehold that certain Christian groups have put on the whole planet, the judgy, negative, low vibrational grid that is kind of blocking out the Christ consciousness energy that he wanted to implement on the planet. And I can't say it's one specific church. I mean, the Bible has been misinterpreted and reinterpreted and changed more than 250,000 times on this planet. So many sects of this sects, not sex, but sects of these different Christian groups that have splintered off of the main couple, beginning ones. They have their energy, their negative, vibratory, low, just the frequency created around the planet over the past couple decades, this horrible energy. It was like a mucky muck, sort of horrible, icky. I don't know, like if I say swamp water, that kind of comes close. Swamp water mixed with like molasses. So it's kind of like a dark, ugly, tannish, brownish, gooey, sickly, green, yellowy energy. I mean, that's how Jesus was showing it to me. Brother Yeshua showed it to me, and he said it's the only way he could kind of get it across was that kind of a ickiness. And he said it was holding people back, and the guilt that was holding people back from this was so strong that he said, look, little sister, we're going to need you to help work on this. And there's thousands of people around the world also working on this. And we need to just send beams and rays of white light towards this to break it up so that people can relax and stop being so judgmental. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Coast to Coast AM and during the Art Bell days, which was pretty much 40 years before the new guy took over. But he had talked about a lot of different things. And there was a guy that always called and said that Art Bell's going to die and go to hell and like live in like a lake of fire and burn in a cesspool of human waste and excrement forever, that kind of thing. Okay, it sounds horrible, but there was this one guy, and Art Bell made it a joke, and it became like an advertisement for the show because it was so outrageously horrible and also hilarious. So he became kind of a joke. And I found YouTube clips on it about a year ago, and it was like, oh my God, this guy was nuts. And he had stopped calling in, and I guess he had died. And then his son called Art Bell when Art Bell had his new show on the internet a few years back. And well, it was like 3 years back. I was writing the news for him then, but or some of the supernatural news. Some of the articles were mine. So anyway, but his son started calling in and said his dad had died, and then he started in on the judgmental shit again, like evil, venomous words. Well, that was all a part of the Jesus Christ grid. So a lot of us light workers, we're all individually told, and I didn't really talk to anyone else about it, but we broke it up, and I did it quietly. I thought, this is kind of crazy. I'm doing the work, but it's weird. I'm not going to like tell anyone about it. I told my husband, he believed me, and he thought, okay, we'll just work on it. Put a lot of pink energy, which is love, and a lot of white energy, which is just pure God energy. And so as that broke up and it went away, Brother Yeshua came back to me a couple months or maybe a year later. And he said, okay, little sister, we've done it. Now we're implementing the Christ consciousness grid. It's because we're going to raise the consciousness of all of humanity. And again, this is like about 10 years ago. And I was like, oh my God, this is a huge task. This is monumental. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to go for it. Brother Yeshua asked me, I've got to do it. So I worked on that as well. So about that time is about the time I started getting into energetic healing, and I had already been sending love and light, but I wasn't sure if I was doing it right. So I ended up going and getting my Reiki, my first level Reiki. And years later, I got my second and third, and I'm a Reiki master teacher now. So anyway, I, worked on dismantled the Jesus Christ grid. I think the joke there was that Christ was not his last name. It was a title that he was given, just like Quetzalcoatl and, 16 other Christs that were on the planet. Yeshua wasn't the only one. He was Jesus the Christ, or Yeshua the Christ. Anyway, so we did the grids, and we put in the Christ consciousness grid. And about 2 years ago, my higher guidance was telling me, now we are implementing a new grid, and this grid is for healing. And I had been, as a Reiki master, I had been sending energy through my hands to people when they asked me, or to people like in my family when my mother needed healing, different things. And I had animals showing up at my door and begging to come in. I had a cat that had cancer, and she came into my house. And for about 2 weeks, she came in every night, laid in my bed, and I held her at night. And I just gave her Reiki all night long. And 2 weeks later, she did not have cancer anymore. So I was doing a lot when I was in Peru for about a year and a half. I was working on animals. I'd have dogs just run up to me, run across the street, bark at me, lean up against my legs, and look at me like, what are you waiting for? Give me energy. So that was weird. It was really weird. All I did for a year was heal animals. And God told me, this is your time to heal animals. So about the time that I was healing the animals, I decided to go online, and I told 10 million people on Facebook. I had many different groups as a part of it that had between 1 million to 3 million people. So I told them all, if you ever need any energetic healing from me, please ask my higher self. The energy will automatically flow to you. You don't have to tell me directly. Just say, Elena Fox Stark's higher self, please send me the energy that I need. And all of a sudden, it's like I couldn't sleep with covers anymore. I was burning up at night. Every night it was so hot, filled with energy because it was flowing. And even now, I'm healing anywhere between 10 to 20,000 people in any given moment. As soon as I started doing this, it was like this massive, huge energy rushing through me. And I just thought, I want to heal more people than I even know. It's time. So the energy was flowing through me. At first it was going through my hands. That got to be too much. So the energy is flowing into my crown chakra all the way down through my feet. And then it was going out, before that, the energy was going in my body, up my body, from my feet, up through my crown chakra and out to everybody. And then God said, now we're doing it a different way. We're putting the energy from your crown chakra down into the earth. And then it was going out to everybody. And about 2 years ago, a new earth healing grid had been implemented. And when that happened, that became so much easier. Now there's hundreds of thousands of light workers and healers now putting energy into this grid. That's a healing grid that covers the whole earth. And what's happening with this is we are putting all of our energy into it. So when you ask for healing, it comes up from the ground and it goes up into your feet. Now, there's another thing that happened to me that I noticed is when I moved to the apartment I'm in 7 months ago in June, I looked like I was dying. My energy field was absolutely gray. And I started praying hard. I'm like, oh, I can't die. I've got a 16-year-old. Well, actually, my kid at the time was 15. I'm like, I've got a 15-year-old kid. He's my boy. I'm raising him. And I'm the only parent. My parents have all died except my birth father, who I haven't spoken to in years. And I'm like, God, I can't die now. I can't go. So my higher guidance said, what you're doing is you're putting your energy into the grid of the 3D earth. And the problem with this is you have to put your energy into the 5D earth. You've got to unhook your energy from the 3D world, because planet Earth, Mother Gaia, on the third dimensional level is dying, and in a couple of months won't exist anymore. We will be in the fifth dimension in a few months. Well, now it's January 2019. We are in the lowest rungs of the fifth dimension, and what is happening with this is that we are having to hook our energy now into the earth, but the 5D earth, the fifth dimensional earth. So if you've been running low on energy, I want you to imagine that those ties to the old world, the one you were born on, unhook them. Maybe imagine like a hook, or cut the cords to that and put new cords to the energy healing grid of the fifth dimensional level. Because when you create something on the 3D, it's automatically in the fifth and the seventh, and there's various octaves of it. Well, the third dimensional one broke away. It's busted up. And so imagine when you ask for energy healing, you're in the fifth dimension now. Ask for it from the fifth dimensional level. And it will come through your feet, and you'll feel it as hot energy or cold energy or electrical energy, or you might not feel it at all, actually. And that's how Reiki works, but that's how all the energy. And there's energy healers from all different walks of life, from all different countries, from all different just different cultures and different forms of energetic healing, not just Reiki. And the other thing is, we no longer are on a 7 chakra system. If you're here, you're hearing my voice right now, you're listening to Metaphysical Soul Speak, you are in the fifth dimension. You are now operating from a 12 chakra system. So I want you to consider that the majority of all of the healing energy and the healing things that we were doing were, before, it's all changed. It's all changed. Everything's changing. Like all the things that we knew, all the things that I knew, that I have so many certifications in different forms, various forms of healing. I have to implement them in different ways or let them go entirely. So, when you go to different levels of your chakras and even the hertz, I'm wondering, I don't know, I have to still ask and figure this part out, but if the hertz of the planet went from 7.83 to 40, and it's keeping going up, what's going to happen to the hertz frequency of our chakra system as we move into our crystalline bodies, as we move into the fifth dimension? So I'm thinking now that we are moving up, and our chakras energy vibe is moving up. And I've noticed it in the individual cells of our bodies. It's also starting to vibe higher. That's why we're feeling less dense. Because when something is a heavy, slow energy, you feel heavy and slow. Now that we're in a higher vibe, we're going to be feeling faster and lighter. And that's also why we feel dizzy sometimes. That's another symptom I forgot. Just remembered that one. You might feel like a little bit lightheaded, pass-outy sort of feeling. Take a deep breath when that happens. But I wanted to mention about the healing grid of the planet. And so that's our topic for today, basically. And I'm going to wrap it up. This is going to be a shorter one than yesterday. I'm going to probably do part 2 on grids tomorrow, which will probably be a shorter one as well. And I'll go into different grids that I think might exist, and also how you can implement the idea of a grid in your home and possibly in your city and in your neighborhood to increase the healing energy, positive energy. So basically, that's all I have to say I don't know, if you want to visualize this healing grid the way I see it, and you might see it differently, and there's no right or wrong way to see it, the way I see it is that it's a bright, bright, bright white light, and it has that blue pranic energy in it, that electric blue that you could barely see in it. Also, there's like a pink energy of love, and that's also part of it. And because it's been gridded around the fifth dimensional world, the problem that we had before was the energy would flow to you, and if your spirit blocked it, it would have to go to somebody else. Well, the way it is now is we're all just putting the energy directly into the grid, and we're not doing it through our hands. We're doing it either through our feet or our crown chakra, depending on which way we're supposed to be flowing. And energetically, and I think everybody might be different, because every light worker has a completely different mission, even though we're all similar. So we all have like a little tiny piece of this, billion piece puzzle. So it's like loco. It's crazy. Like you go on YouTube and you'll hear one light worker says one thing, another one says another thing, and they're similar, but they're slightly different. It's because we all have a little bit slightly different mission. So what I'm telling you might resonate like 75%, but you have a little bit more information or a little bit different information. And it's all good information. It's just that we're all working at our little teeny tiny piece of the puzzle. So basically, as we're flowing all the energy into the grid, all the energy is there. And healing is going to be rapidly manifesting now. So when you ask for healing and you're very sincere and you open your body to it, it's going to go like freaking rapid compared to what it did before. Because you're not going to have one person healing you. You're going to have everybody healing you. You could still ask my higher self to help you, but when the energy flows to you, know that it's not coming only from me through my channel. It's coming through everybody else's as well. And that's good, because if there's, 1,000 people near you that are healers, you're going to get that energy instant. And by the way, the energy that flows to you is intelligent energy. It's directly from God. It's not judging. It's not picky about where it goes. It will flow where it is needed in your body, in your mind, in your soul, your mental body, your emotional body, all of your subtle bodies, your aura, wherever it needs. You can use it to heal, to patch up something in your aura. You could heal your heart with it. If you have had an upset or a breakup or someone passed away, if you lose everything in your life and you're sad, all of that, it will help. It will help whatever you need. It will flow wherever it goes, because it has the intelligence of the divine will, the one will, God, the universe, goddess, whatever you want to call it. So I just wanted to bring that up and talk to you quickly about the healing grid of the planet. Tomorrow I'm going to do part 2 about grids, and we might go over grids again in a couple months. As the energy and the information flows more to me, I will know more, and I will bring you the information. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to publish this podcast. I hope you guys enjoy it. I love each and every one of you with my whole heart, and I hope that this is a wonderful week upcoming for you. Happy January, Happy New Year, and take care. Bye-bye. Hey you, have you ever thought about having your own podcast like me? Was it even a New Year's resolution? For me, it sure was. But as I've been looking into this for months, I was daunted. There's so many questions I had. When I was trying to get this off the ground, I was wondering, how do I record the episode? How do I get it across all the platforms? How do I get my podcast on Apple Podcasts when I don't even have an iPhone? How do I get it onto Spotify and all the other places? How do I get people to listen? And how do I make money from my podcast? How do I edit it? Oh my God, I had all these questions and I was so confused until I discovered the simple answer is Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free, and it is ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcast. All you need to do is record it. You don't have to go out and look for people to advertise on your show. They help you. So basically what I like about podcasting is I don't have to have a video of myself. You don't know if my hair is dirty or if I'm still in my pajamas or even if I'm wearing makeup. Haha. And it's so easy. I could do this from the comfort of my own home in my living room using this amazing app right from my cell phone. So easy, right? So if you've always wanted to start your own podcast and make money, by the way, doing it, please go to anchor.fm/start. That is anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters that are already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast, and I can't wait to favorite you. Woohoo! Let's be broadcast podcast buddies. I'll see you there.